Hey guys, we got a 1979 Johnson 9.9. We're going to do a quick water pump removal today, just to replace that. Beginning of the season, started up, spinning a little slow, so I thought it'd be a good idea to replace that real quick. So we're going to start by removing these 3 bolts on the side of the lower unit on each side. It's about a 10 millimeter. So we're going to start with that, remove that portion. Okay, as you can see, I've got those 6 bolts removed on the lower unit. If you take a quicker look in there, that case kind of pulled apart a little bit. There is a shift rod disconnect right there. There's actually 2 sides of it, but we're just going to undo one of those screws, loosen that up, and this lower unit should drop out. I'll show you the after picture of that. That'll look like it in just a second. Alright, so I've got this thing out. So as you can see, this bearing slid up whenever I pulled that out. Not a big deal. But basically that's what the inside of it looks like. I'm going to start to take these 4 bolts off, pull that water pump housing off, and we'll see what we look like inside. Probably not very good. One thing I like to do, you don't have to do it, but on the inside of this, I just like to clean this out a little bit, get some of that exhaust vapor crap out of there, some of that nasty gummy gooey, slimy bally stuff, you know. Alright, so as you can see, I've got that everything pulled apart, pulled that plate off there. One thing I like to do is with the box everything came in, I usually like to throw all my old crap in there, just kind of know everything's going back in there, and I usually lay out all my new parts. So we got new housing bolts, new pump kit, all of our seals and our fun stuff there. Here's the old one. As you can see, I mean, not completely terrible, but you know, $20, $30 for cheap insurance, you might as well do it. It's pretty simple, self-explanatory. I like to do things a little ahead of time, but this probably could be done a little bit sooner, but as it is, this is what it's going to do. We're going to put this plate back on there, and then we're going to slide this housing back on. The trickiest part about this piece, obviously this plate will spin sideways, but is getting this dowel pin back in here. So basically what I want to do is I'm going to set that on top of that flat spot on the shaft, so turn that basically so it sits upright. And then I'm going to try to slide this down on top of it, and there is a little keyway groove in there, you can kind of see it. We just want to get that lined up, that way it basically locks that impeller in place. Okay, so as you can tell, I've got the impeller down there on the actual locking key. So I grease the shaft up a little bit, and I put a little bit of grease, you know, around the inside of this, just to make everything kind of go together a little bit smoother. So when I put this down there, I'm going to spin this clockwise, and that's the way actually impeller is going to turn. So I want that to kind of, as I'm walking it on there, I want that to start, you know, basically going in the rotation that's going to be when it's actually in use. That way you kind of prevent anything from going back, you know, essentially you'll be spinning the impeller backwards. We wouldn't want to do that. It might cause some issues. So we're going to put that on there and we'll go from there. I actually threw this also, this other grommet in there. Put a little grease on that as well. Okay, so I've got all the pump housing bolts tightened down. Basically just going to put this back together, make sure your O-ring's back up on top here. And you've got your O-ring here. We're going to obviously put that bolt back in there, and then run our back six bolts for the lower unit back on place. As you see, I got it all wrapped back up. Just going to do a quick lower unit oil change. That's self-explanatory. Actually, fluid looks pretty good. Last time I changed it, looked like it had a little bit of discoloration to it. So do that, and then it's going to be good to go for the season. Again, that's a 1979 Johnson 9.9. We'll be ready for the fishing season. The key is running. You got a good stream coming out. Good time. Well, that's all, folks. Thanks for watching.